Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic, here with a bit of a different video. Recently, I've been asked for a deck tour of some of my personal builds, which you may have caught me playing on stream lately. If you want to know when I'm going to be on stream, you can follow me on Twitter at CMDRMechanic. I'll play decks like this one all the time. The personal deck we're going to tour today is another one I built along with my patrons. It's Orvar the Allform. My patrons got to see an exclusive deck tech of this build, along with my inspiration rooted in the SCP Foundation. If you're interested in exclusive content like that, you can check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/cmdrmechanic. This deck does everything I love to do. Copy, copy, copy. I've recently embraced my love of cloning effects via Too Many Gyrudas and now Orvar. And I can't show enough love for my tentacled child. Naturally, we want to lean into a few effects here to synergize with making copies. The first we want are enablers, and the second we want are targets. For enablers, we want to look at small, efficient spells that do little to nothing on their own, but let us target any permanent. Spells like Giga Drowse, or Prismatic Lace, or Teferi's Time Twist. If we can target anything with it, then we'll never have a lack for targets because we can always just clone a land. That's right, Orvar lets us copy any permanent we target with an instant or sorcery. So, anything is on the menu. Have you ever wanted 5 Rhystic Studies? Doable in this deck. Have you ever wanted 100 Master of Ways? Been there, done that. Have you ever made 888,888 Gilded Lotuses? I sure have, and I've cackled like a madman every time. One of the enablers I like the most are the Cipher cards, Trait Doctoring and Hidden Strings. These two allow us to cast spells every turn as long as we have a clear path for attacking. That is value. But the absolute best cards in the deck are Mind Games and Whim of Volrath. These buyback cards are gas over and over again, letting you cast a spell every turn. Again, even if you're paying 3 or 4 mana to make a copy of a land, it's good. But you're making a copy of Sol Ring, or even better, a copy of Gilded Lotus? Wait, that goes infinite, doesn't it? That's right. If you cast a Whim of Volrath or a Mind Games with its cost reduced by a Sapphire Medallion, then any rock that makes 3 mana will just go infinite. This can be done with Gilded Lotus or with Coveted Jewel, where Coveted Jewel can help you draw your whole library. Just make sure to use that last jewel to help cast a Dramatic Reversal, so you can make use of all of that mana to win the game via a Blue Sun Zenith, or a Thassa's Oracle, or heck, even a Storm Outlet like Brain Freeze. You'll note that Aetherflux Reservoir is not in the list, and that is intentional. I've found that line too easy to win by. Make 2 or 3 reservoirs, and you only need to cast 2 or 3 spells in a turn to just win the game. Boring. No, instead I like to try to win via mechanized production. Let's make 100 Sapphire Medallions, or Soul Rings, or Caged Suns, then slap a mechanized production on it, and give our opponent a chance to stare inevitability in the eye. Wow, I am really starting to sound like a supervillain, aren't I? Now, I covered a few copy targets already, but let's talk about a few tricksy inclusions. We have to be careful as Orvar can only copy permanents we control, so why not ensure we can do anything our opponents can do? We have Mirage Mirror in here to become a copy of anything our opponents have so that we can make more, with the benefit of the copy staying the permanent that the mirror was, and the mirror reverting back to its normal state. We also have Sower of Temptation to grab the best creature in play long enough for us to make a few copies of them. And we have clones that can target our opponent's stuff, Phyrexian Metamorph or Sculpting Steel, so that we can have more of the best artifacts or creatures in play, more than anyone else. Apart from that, we have some recursion engines we can copy too, Torrential Gearhulk and Archaeomancer. While these can't grab the spells that we target them with, their clones entering the battlefield before the spell resolves, as Orvar's ability is a cast trigger rather than a resolve trigger. We can use a card like Torrential Gearhulk to essentially say, when Torrential Gearhulk enters the battlefield, make X copies, where X is the number of instants in your graveyard that can target Torrential Gearhulk. Untapping with even 4 or 5 of these big, beefy artifact creatures can win games pretty quickly. Then, of course, like any good blue deck, there's a strong interaction package. Bounce and counter spells are key to ensuring you don't get blown out, or Orvar isn't targeted by removal repeatedly. Of course, you could always just target Orvar with an instant or sorcery to make a copy of him, sacrificing the targeted version to the legend rule. Hey, it's the Prestige! The deck's ideal game plan is to get Orvar out with a 1-mana spell in hand. This way you can protect Orvar and ensure you'll almost always have a copy. If the turn wheels back to you with Orvar in play, you can start going crazy. In some instances making multiple island tokens, or maybe a handful of sapphire medallions or soul rings. If you can do that, you're ready to snowball out of control. One juicy target can turn into a dozen copies fast. This is hands down one of my favorite personal decks I've built, and one I plan on keeping on hand for a long while. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me play it on stream recently. If you like this deck tech and walkthrough, let me know in the comments below, and I'll look to do them more regularly. But as always, folks, good luck and have fun.